I was crashing with my brother in a rundown two-bedroom dump relic of a house with peeling paint and creaky floors, stuck in the sketchiest corner of town. We were both grinding, saving every dime to ditch that place. And thank God we pulled it off a few months after this went down. I was pulling overnight shifts at the hospital, while he worked mids at a grocery store, ships passing in the night, barely catching a hay or later. Before one of us was out the door, it was my night off, and since my sleep schedule was flipped, I rolled out of bed at 8 p.m., nuked some leftover mac and cheese, and waved at my brother as he dragged himself in from work a couple hours later. He crashed hard, and I flopped onto our sagging couch in the living room, firing up Netflix for some mindless binge-watching, probably Stranger Things. Knowing me, the rain was hammering outside, a steady roar against the roof, but I was zoned out, cozy under a blanket. Then it happened. A blinding beam sliced through the front window headlights, sharp and sudden, like someone had just peeled into our driveway. I hauled myself up, heart kicking a little, and peeked through the blinds. A car sat there, parked right behind mine, lights still blazing, engine idling. The glare drowned out any chance of seeing who was inside. Before I could even process, a loud bang 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 rattled the front door. In this neighborhood, at this hour, with rain pouring like a damn monsoon? Yeah, that's a red flag. I crept to the door's peephole, pulse ticking up. A guy stood there, just beyond the porch, soaked to the bone, tall, shadowy, no umbrella. Was he from the car? Did he sprint over that fast? Or was someone else still out there? No clue, but I wasn't about to play hero and find out. I slunk back to the window, watching, waiting. A couple minutes later, the dude shuffled to the car, hopped in the passenger side, and they peeled out, tires squealing on wet asphalt. Weird as hell, but I chalked it up to a wrong address. Back to the couch, back to my show, crisis averted. Right? Wrong. I must have dozed off mid-episode, sprawled out with the television still blaring. Maybe 15, 20 minutes tops. On episode had just finished when I jolted awake, groggy, reaching for my water. The rain was louder now, too loud, like it was inside the house. I turned, and my stomach dropped. The front door was cracked open, swaying slightly in the wind. I knew I'd locked it. Panic hit me like a freight train. I bolted over, slammed it shut, and threw the deadbolt, yelling, "Yo, Chris, you out there?" Nothing. Just the rain pounding the roof, and that creepy silence that makes your skin crawl. My brain scrambled. Maybe he'd popped out for a smoke or something. But in the back of my head, those headlights, that knock. I shouted again, louder, "Chris!" Still nothing. I hit the stairs, taking them two at a time, my socks slipping on the worn wood. His bedroom door was wide open. Strike one. He never left it like that when he slept. As I got closer, I heard it rustling, thumping, like a damn party was going down in there. I reached the doorway just as a guy, big, hooded, wild-eyed, barreled out, slamming into me full force. I hit the deck, wind knocked out of me, and another dude bolted past, dodging me like I was roadkill. They tore down the stairs as I scrambled up, dazed, adrenaline screaming. Then Chris stumbled out, face pale, yelling, "Call the cops now." He charged after them, and I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911 with shaking hands, trailing him downstairs. The intruders bolted out the side door, disappearing into the storm down the street. Chris locked everything tight, deadbolts, chains, the works, while we waited for the cavalry. He was breathing hard, spilling it all. They'd woken him up, pinned him down, one of them flashing a knife at his throat to keep him quiet. It had gone down minutes before I woke up. When they heard me coming upstairs, they panicked and bailed. No plan, no loot, just gone. Cops showed up, took our statements, poked around. No idea who they were or what they want. Random break-in. Targeting Chris? Maybe they didn't even clock me on the couch. We'll never know. But after that night, we doubled down. saved faster, and got the hell out of that death trap house. Nothing's happened since, but I still triple check my locks every night. I'm the groundskeeper at our town's only cemetery, a sprawling, quiet place that's been around forever. The kind of gig most people think is creepy as hell. Truth is, it's usually just boring. The only thing that ever gets under my skin, those old bells rusted, ancient things tied to a few gravestones from the 1800s, leftovers from when folks were terrified of being buried alive. They're still there, swaying in the wind. And yeah, they give me the chills. But most nights, it's just me, my routine, and the silence. Sometimes a pack of dumbass teens sneaks in to mess around. But one look at my flashlight and they're gone, scattering like roaches. Our town's small, so this cemetery's massive rows of headstones stretching out under gnarled oaks, the only burial ground for miles. It was a Thursday, mid-July, sticky hot even at night. I rolled up at 10 p.m. Like always, boots crunching on gravel as I headed into the outpost, a squat brick shack with a flickering security monitor, a rusty toolbox, and a bathroom that's seen better days. I grabbed the gate keys off the hook, trudged down to the main entrance, and locked the big iron gate with a satisfying clank. That's when I saw a guy in a black hoodie pacing through the grass on the other side of the fence, maybe 10 feet away. He didn't look at me, just kept walking, head down, hands stuffed in his pockets. I stood there a minute, watching him drift past the gate and along the perimeter. Weird, but not my problem yet. I shrugged it off and headed back to the outpost. Inside, I hung the keys up, flipped through some notes the day crew left busy work to kill the first half hour. At 11 o'clock, I snagged the key to the runner, a beat-up ATV with a basket on back for hauling stuff, and rolled it out of the shed. Thursday's cleanup night. I buzz around, check for busted stones, scoop up wilted flowers or random junk mourners leave behind. Most folks don't come back for it after the weekend funerals, so it's just me and the dead, tidying up under the stars. I was halfway through my rounds, tossing a soggy teddy bear into the basket, when I spotted him, a lone figure on the far side of the yard, cutting through the shadows. I scanned for a group, kids. Maybe, but it was just this one guy, moving slow, deliberate. The ATV's engine growled loud enough to wake the dead, but he didn't flinch, didn't turn, just kept staring straight ahead, like I wasn't even there. I gunned it toward him, figuring he might be some grieving soul lost in his head. I pulled up beside him, tires chewing the grass, and tried the nice guy approach. "Hey sir, sorry, but the yard's closed till morning. Need a lift out?" Nothing. He kept walking, eyes locked forward, like I was a ghost. I edged closer, patience thinning. "Look, you gotta leave now, or I'm calling the cops. Trespassing's no joke." That's when he stopped. He turned, slow, and looked right at me. His eyes were bloodshot, wide as hell, and he was smiling this twisted, sad grin that made my gut twist. We stared at each other, seconds stretching into forever, the humid air thick between us. Then he lunged, full on, arms out, slamming into the side of the runner. I floored it, tires spinning, peeling away before he could grab me, my heart hammering against my ribs. I whipped the ATV around, beelining for the outpost, fumbling for my radio. 911, "I've got an intruder, aggressive, just attacked me." I barked, voice shaking as I parked outside and bolted into the security room, locking the door behind me. The cops were only a couple minutes out, small town perk, but before I could even scan the screens for this guy, the door exploded with banging, hard, relentless thuds, like he was trying to break it down with his bare hands. The whole shack shook, walls, floor, everything. I had nothing to fight with, just a screwdriver and a prayer. So I stood there, frozen, watching the door buckle, hoping it'd hold. I yelled into the radio, "He's at the door, hurry." The dispatcher's calm voice told me to hang tight. Cops were a minute out. Then, 10 seconds later, the banging stopped. Dead silence, followed by the slap of footsteps sprinting off. I swung to the monitors, caught a grainy glimpse of him tearing toward the tree line at the cemetery's edge. Sirens wailed in the distance, and soon 2 squad cars screeched up. I pointed them where he'd run, but they didn't chase. Too dark, too risky. No clue if he was armed or just unhinged. We filed a report, gave them the footage. But weeks passed, and nothing. No ID, no trace. Was he some wrecked soul mourning a fresh grave? A junkie off his meds? I'll never know. But those bells by the old stones, they don't just creep me out anymore. They feel like a warning.